Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joseph Novichkov, Senior Trading Manager with GDM. Today's outlook, we start with Mainland shares. They led losses in a mixed trading session in Asia on Tuesday, with investors doubtful of how effective Beijing's market rescue measures will be. In the previous session, a surprise no vote in Greece's referendum Sunday sparked a sell-off as the unexpected results raised fears that Greece could be forced to leave the Eurozone, putting, of course, more strain on the European economy and impacting the stability of the currency union. China's Shanghai Composite Index, it resumed its downturn to slump almost 2% late on Tuesday, giving up the gains from the previous session following a salvo of support measures orchestrated by Beijing over the weekend. Of course, we're also looking at the Japan's Nikkei 225 index. It recouped, however, more than half of Monday's losses to rebound from one-week closing low. Bargain hunters, of course, swooped in on counters that were heavily sold off in the previous session. And of course, the dollar inched slightly higher to 122.60, nearly a full yen, above its 6-week low of 121.70 yen, hit on Monday as the Greek turmoil hindered the Japan's currency as a safe haven appeal. Australia's S&P 200 index, however, widened gains after the Reserve Bank of Australia announced it was keeping the cash rate unchanged at the record low of 2%. Which is, of course, in line with most of the analysts' expectations. The Australian dollar, however, turned choppy following the central bank's decision and lost traded around 0.7487 compared to 0.7471 against the greenback prior to the announcement. European equities, however, are expected to open slightly higher on Tuesday as pressure keeps mounting on Greece to come up with a viable debt plan. All eyes in Europe are on Greece after 61% of Greeks voters voted on Sunday against accepting a proposed bailout program from creditors. The of course, entailed further austerity measures and, of course, spending cuts. Capital controls on Greek banks are still in place after the European Central Bank decided on Monday to maintain a tight hold on its emergency funding for Greek banks, raising the amount of collateral they must post for any loans. The euro as a currency slipped in Asian trade on Tuesday but remained well off lows touched in the previous session ahead of Eurozone summit that investors hope might offer a way for Greece to, let's say, climb out of its debt crisis and stay in the common currency. Against the dollar, the euro edged down about 0.2% to 1.1034, but remained well above its low of 1.0969, touched on Monday when it remained above its one-month through of 1.0955 set in late June. In the commodity sector, we're looking at the yellow metal. Gold fell on Tuesday as markets awaited news from the Eurozone summit to see whether progress would be made in the Greek debt crisis. Even as increasing short positions in the precious metal underlined bearish sentiment towards bullion, gold has so far failed to see significant safe haven bids that were sparked by the ongoing Greek crisis as fears on contagion seems to be limited. Strength in the dollar has also capped those gains. Gold fell 0.2% to 1167.21 an ounce in Asia trade. The metal rose as much as 0.6% early on Monday following Greek rejection on the terms of a bailout package, but gave up those gains to close only 0.2% up. Crude oil prices in the energy sector steadied on Tuesday after posting one of their biggest sell-offs this year, the previous session over Greece's rejection of debt bailout terms, and of course China's stock market woes. Front month US crude futures were trading at $52.97 per barrel in the Asian session, up 44 cents from a settlement on Monday when an almost 8% drop pulled the contract down to levels that were last seen in April. And of course, in today's calendar, the most important events are the US trade balance at 12:30, followed by UK's preliminary GDP report, and at 14, which is of course at 14, and at 16, the European leaders will gather at a special summit in order to resolve the Greek debt crisis. That's all from me for today. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.